I lost my job 3 weeks ago. Jennifer left 2 weeks after that. She said things about timing and needing different paths, but I knew the truth. I'd stopped being a person who moved forward. I became someone who sat on the couch, scrolling through a phone full of memories instead of plans. Now I'm 36 with a back that wakes me up before my alarm. The chiropractor visits stopped when money got tight. Groceries come every other week instead of weekly. The space between necessities fills with late-night nostalgia, toy commercials from 1994, station IDs for networks that died before I graduated from high school, static that sounds like comfort. The algorithm knows what I want better than I do. I spend hours in comment sections where strangers say, "I thought I was the only one who remembered this." I belong there more than anywhere else in my actual life. 3 nights ago, I couldn't sleep. My back hurt, and my thoughts wouldn't stop circling, and everything I hadn't done pressed down on my chest. I opened YouTube at 11, told myself I'd watch for an hour. The sun came up and I was still watching. The feed pulled me deeper. Fast food jingles, Saturday morning cartoons, sitcoms recorded over family vacations. The colors blurred into VHS haze, that soft fuzz where nothing has sharp edges. The real world waited beyond the laptop screen. Bills on the desk, job listings I should open, the half-empty bed. But the past was louder. At 5:47 a.m., I clicked a thumbnail. 90s snack commercials you totally forgot about, 43 minutes long, channel with 300 subscribers. Description said, VHS rip from 1996, some tracking issues, mostly clean. I hit play. Dunkaroos, Gushers, kids with Kool-Aid grins and Sugar Rush energy. I watched because watching meant not thinking about the bills. At 31 minutes, something different started. A kitchen lit, brightly lit. A family with oval heads and stick figure limbs, the kind of cheap animation that filled afternoon commercial breaks. The mother set down a tray of enormous cookies. The chocolate chips caught the light and winked. When you want a treat that's sweet and neat, reach for crumbly cookies. The kid bit in. Stars burst across the frame. The family leaned forward together, mouths opening for the first line of the jingle. A compressed hiss filled the space where music should have been. It wasn't silence or dead air. A specific sound, like the shape of a melody, had been scooped out and replaced with white noise. The picture kept moving. The family kept singing their silent song. Crumbly cookies, available at grocery stores everywhere. Next commercial, cereal, a cartoon rabbit, normal sound. I dragged the video back and played it again. The hiss returned in the exact same spot. I checked the comments. Someone had typed out the full jingle in caps lock. Another person said their dad used to sing it on road trips. 3 people argued about whether there was a key change in the bridge. Nobody mentioned corrupted audio. Nobody said the melody was missing. I opened a new tab, searched crumbly cookie jingle. Results flooded back. Clips labeled full version and clean audio, a 10-hour loop, someone's kindergarten class singing it. I clicked through 6 different videos. Every single one had the same gap. The build-up, the hiss, the finish. I tested different speakers, headphones, my phone. I cleared my browser cache and tried again. I used a VPN to route through different servers. The hiss stayed constant. The jingle existed in text. It existed in memory. Thousands of people claimed to know it. I could read the lyrics on a dozen wiki pages. I could see the sheet music someone had transcribed. But still I couldn't hear it. Sleep would fix this, I told myself. I kept believing that, right up until a phone interview at noon, where my voice shook, and I forgot a question twice, and apologized for being scattered. At 3, I met Derek at the coffee shop on 4th Street. We've been friends since college, bonded over our obsession with commercial archaeology. He collects obscure ads the way I collect vinyl records that skip. He looked up from his phone when I sat down. His expression changed. You look like you haven't slept in days. I haven't. I set my laptop on the table between us. Do you remember crumbly cookies? His face brightened immediately. Oh man, yes. My grandma kept them in the pantry. They were fine, nothing special, but that jingle was infectious. My throat tightened. Hum it for me. He laughed. What? I'm serious. Hum the jingle. The laugh died. He studied my face like he was trying to figure out if this was a joke he didn't understand. You want me to hum the crumbly cookie song right now? I watched the commercial last night. The audio cuts out right at the jingle. I've tried every version I can find. Same problem. That's a weird corruption, Derek said. Must be something with the source file that got copied everywhere. Just hum it. He shrugged and started. His voice rose and fell with clear confidence. Where the melody should have been, my brain registered only that same compressed hiss. He finished and smiled, pleased with himself. There, happy? My hands had gone cold. One more time, slower. His smile faded. Dude, are you okay? Please. He hummed it again, drawing out each phrase. I focused on every sound. My brain kept trying to fill the gap, searching for the pattern everyone else could hear. It found nothing. You're scaring me a little, Derek said when he stopped. I can't hear it. The words came out flat. I hear you humming. I hear the rhythm. The actual melody doesn't reach me. He stared at me for a long moment. Then he reached across the table and put his hand on my forearm. When's the last time you ate something that wasn't vending machine food? I'm not having a breakdown. I didn't say you were, but you need sleep. Real sleep. Maybe talk to someone. He squeezed my arm once and let go. I'm worried about you. We talked about other things after that. He told me about an estate sale where he'd found a box of local car dealership commercials from the 80s. I nodded at the right times and said the right things, and felt the conversation happening somewhere outside my body. When I left, I took the long way home. At 5th and Maple, the corner had changed. I stopped walking, stood there on the sidewalk, staring at a storefront I'd never seen before. Painted windows, cheerful yellow-orange walls, a sign in that aggressive, rounded font from 90s, advertising, Cookie Crumble Cafe. The mascot on the glass looked exactly like the cookie from the commercial. Same chocolate chips exaggerated into glossy ovals, same winking expression. I had walked past this corner 3 times a week for 2 years. There was supposed to be a dry cleaner here. I remembered the faded awning, the steady hum of the machines inside, the chemical smell that leaked onto the sidewalk. A historical plaque hung beside the door, brass, slightly tarnished. Cookie Crumble Cafe, established 1997. Through the window, I could see someone wiping down the counter. A woman in her 50s looked up and smiled. The display case held enormous cookies identical to the ones from the ad. The walls were that same yellow-orange. I went inside. A bell chimed above my head. Can I help you? The woman asked. When did this open? She blinked. 28 years ago this November. My mom started it right after the Crumbly Cookie campaign took off. She loved that jingle so much, she wanted to make a little place that felt like it. There was a dry cleaner here. Her smile stayed fixed, but her eyes narrowed slightly. Not that I remember. Maybe a long time ago. This was an empty lot when Mom bought it. I looked at the photos covering one wall. Grand opening, 1997. A younger version of this woman standing beside an older woman, both holding oversized cookies. Birthday parties from the early 2000s. Kids with frosting-smeared faces. A newspaper clipping about local businesses weathering the 2008 recession. You okay? The woman asked. Fine, sorry. I left without buying anything. My hands shook as I walked home. Once I was inside my apartment, I opened Google Maps, searched the address, clicked through Street View history. 2023, Cookie Crumble Cafe, painted mascot on the window. 2019, same building, slightly faded paint. 2012, same building, brighter colors. 2009, the oldest available image, same building, same sign, same mascot cookie winking from the glass. I opened my laptop and started taking screenshots. Every search result, every timestamp, every street view image. I saved links. I documented everything I could find. The laptop felt like the only solid thing left in the world. I searched for the jingle again that night. Articles, playlists, wiki pages, Spotify links. Every single source insisted the song existed, that everyone knew it, that it had been inescapable in the late 90s. In a comment thread on a nostalgia forum, someone mentioned the Night Trippers. Fun fact, they sang the Crumbly Cookie jingle before they made it big. That's what launched their whole career. I knew the Night Trippers. I'd listened to them constantly in college when I was barely holding myself together. Quiet folk songs with long silences between chords. Songs about empty highways and basement apartments and the particular loneliness of 3 a.m. I owned both their albums. I went to the shelf and pulled out Basement Hymns. The cover looked right, their faces in shadow, photographed in what looked like a concrete stairwell. I flipped it over. The track listing had changed. Sirens on the Highway had become After the Fame. Basement Light was now Cookie Crumbs and Heartbreak. Every title had shifted into something bright and cheap and referential. My hands started shaking so hard I almost dropped the case. The liner notes thanked the Crumbly Cookie campaign for launching their career. I didn't remember that. I remembered reading these same liner notes 100 times. They'd thanked a college radio DJ in Madison and a house show venue that had let them sleep on the floor. I put the disc in my laptop and pressed play. The first track started, their voices, same harmonies, but the lyrics had turned saccharine, childhood memories, chocolate chips melting on the tongue, television jingles that stayed with you forever. Every song twisted around the same center, a folk album rewritten to celebrate something that shouldn't have mattered. I ejected the disc, held it in both hands. The surface reflected my face back at me. For a moment, I didn't recognize the reflection. A half-memory surfaced. My 10th birthday. I called my mother. She answered on the second ring. "Hey, sweetheart, everything all right? Do you remember my 10th birthday?" She laughed. "The Pokemon cake. You were so mad because the bakery was sold out, so I made one myself. Pikachu looked like a yellow blob, but you loved it anyway. Why? Did you make anything else? Those crumbly cookies you kept begging for. You sang that jingle all day long, drove your father up the wall." She started to sing, her voice going high and childish. "Crumbly, crumbly cookie." I heard her voice. I heard her breath between syllables. I heard the rhythm of the words. The melody never reached me, just the hiss, filling the space where music should exist. "Alex, you still there?" "Yeah, just tired." "You should look at the pictures Emily posted in the family album. You looked so happy." I hung up and found my sister's Facebook, scrolled back to a post from 6 years ago, a throwback photo set. There I was at 10, grinning over a chocolate cake shaped like a deformed Pikachu. Oversized cookies circled the plate. In one photo, my mother and I had our mouths open mid-song. The caption, "Remember when Alex made us all sing the Crumbly Cookie jingle? Classic." I didn't remember any of it. The colors in my apartment had changed. They looked even and flat, like someone had color-corrected reality and pushed the saturation up high. The books on my shelf looked painted on. The shadows under my desk looked printed. I walked to the bathroom and stared at myself in the mirror. Same features, same face, but it looked rendered instead of real. The light didn't behave the way light should behave. A rhythm had started pressing behind my eyes. Words forming in that pattern. Crumbly, crumbly, cookie. My brain kept trying to fill the missing melody. It kept failing. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I blinked, the walls flattened further. My desk lost depth. I reached out and touched the corner where it met the wall. My fingers went through the connection like it wasn't quite there, like the joint existed in a space slightly to the left of where my hand could reach. I pulled back, stared at my hand. The skin looked normal. The room looked normal. I touched the corner again, solid this time. By morning, I couldn't make myself step into the hallway. The air outside my door had taken on that glossy quality of animation. The carpet pattern repeated like background art. The same 4 tiles over and over. When I looked at it straight on, it seemed fine. When I looked away and back, I could see the loop. I opened the screenshots I'd taken of the wiki page. They'd changed. Extra paragraphs now. Longer edit history. The photo of the bakery showed graffiti on the side wall that hadn't been there before. The date of the grand opening had shifted back to 1996. I closed the files and opened them again. More changes. The building looked older. The historical plaque mentioned a different founder. The world was deciding on a version of events. I was the last error it needed to correct. I called Derek again. "Tell me the truth," I said. "About the crumbly cookie jingle. Do you actually remember it?" "Jesus, Alex. Yeah, of course I do. Are you—" "Sing it, right now." Silence on the other end. Then his voice cautious. "You started singing it on the bus in 7th grade. We drove Mrs. Patterson insane with it. You remember that, right?" I didn't. "Sing it anyway." He sang. His voice rose and fell, confident in every note. I heard the shape of melody without the melody itself. Just the hiss, sitting in my skull where music should have been. My throat felt tight, like something was trying to push up from inside, like my vocal cords wanted to join him. "Did you hear it?" he asked when he finished. "Yes," I lied. "I think you should talk to someone, like professionally. This isn't normal, man." "I know." "Do you want me to come over? I'm fine, thanks." I ended the call. The phone screen lagged when I touched it, each swipe delayed by half a second. Every object in my apartment had turned to art. No depth, just color and light arranged in the shape of things. That was 2 days ago. I haven't left the apartment since. I can't. The world outside my door doesn't match the one I came from. I tested it this morning, opened the door just enough to look through. The hallway carpet is a different color now, beige instead of blue. The apartment numbers have changed fonts. 4C across from me used to be occupied by an older man who played saxophone at odd hours. The nameplate now says Henderson Family in cheerful script I've never seen before. I closed the door and checked my lease. It says the building was renovated in 2018, new carpets and updated signage. I moved in during 2022. The carpets were already blue when I got here. My lease now says they've always been beige. I can feel the pressure constantly. The rhythm loops behind every thought. Crumbly, crumbly, cookie. My mouth shapes the words without permission. I catch myself humming and have to physically clap my hand over my lips to stop, because I don't know what sound I'm making. My childhood memories have started splitting. I remember my 10th birthday with the Pokemon cake and no cookies. I also remember my 10th birthday with the Pokemon cake and crumbly cookies and singing the jingle until my throat hurt. Both memories exist in my head at the same time. Both feel real. The second set is getting stronger. I tried to leave again an hour ago. Made it 3 steps into the hallway before the vertigo hit. The floor tilted. The walls breathed. I stumbled back into my apartment and slammed the door. When I looked through the peephole, the hallway was blue again. Blue carpet, old font on the apartment numbers. The nameplate across from me was blank. No name at all. I opened the door. Beige carpet, new font, Henderson Family. I'm caught between 2 versions of the same place. 1 foot in the world I remember, 1 foot in the world that's replacing it. Every time I try to step fully into either one, something pulls me back. The screenshots I took keep changing. I'll look at a saved image and it will be different from the last time I checked. But I can still see the old version in my head. I remember both. The memory I came from and the memory this world insists I should have. I don't know which one I am anymore. I'm writing this down because I need someone to understand what's happening. If you're reading this and you remember a world without crumbly cookies, you need to document it now. Take screenshots. Write everything down, because the world will try to correct you. It will rewrite your past to match everyone else's. And if you're unlucky like me, you'll end up stuck between the 2 versions, unable to move forward in either one. I can't hear the jingle. That gap is the only thing keeping me anchored to where I came from. But the pressure keeps building. My brain keeps searching for the melody. My throat keeps trying to sing. I don't know what happens when the gap finally closes. Maybe I'll slip completely into this new world. Maybe I'll be able to leave the apartment and walk down that beige hallway and live a life where I've always known that jingle. Or maybe I'll stay here forever, trapped in the space between, remembering two lives that can't exist in the same reality. The vertigo is getting worse. I stood up 10 minutes ago and the floor rippled like water. The walls flickered between flat and solid. I can see both versions now without trying. The painted reality and the real one underneath, fighting for the same space. I'm still here, I can still type, but I don't know how much longer I have before the choice gets made for me. If this happens to you, don't try to remember. Don't let your brain fill in the gaps. The moment you hear that melody, the moment you remember what everyone else remembers, you'll belong to their world completely, and you'll never find your way back to your own.